Right. All right. Party people in the place to be, vandals, and all the creatures of the night, and I guess people with abundant gloves. This is a brand new episode of How Did We Get Here? This is a new show we're testing out. We've been kind of playing at doing Big Tuesdays, and yeah, we are that corny. This is a show.
Big Two. Yes, Big Two books.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about big two books, man. And I think we started. We're gonna start off with a pretty interesting one. We picked two pretty weird, pretty novel books. Joe, what are we gonna be talking about in this inaugural episode?
We're going to talk about the initial mini series that Chip Zdarsky did for Howard the Duck, the 2015 series. Before later on that year, they continued with I think, a 12-issue maxi following that. So we'll be covering the first mini series, the 5-issue mini series.
Called "What
And
the Duck." If you have the trade paperback, is the subtitle for that.
and we'll also be from DC. We'll be covering Batman Creature of the Night, written by Kurt Busiek and art by John Paul Leon.
Jean Paul Leon. You gotta
Yeah,
say it like
rest
one of your.
rest in peace, Jean Paul Leon.
Has he passed? I thought he just retired. Oh
No,
man.
no, he's passed. He passed. Yeah.
I was gonna get into it, but man, that book just has such a beautiful nostalgic feel, man. Like you
Uh,
it takes you back in time. It perfectly encapsulates like the narrative of it, and we'll definitely get into that when we're talking about the book. But before that, Joseph, do you have a check-in, man?
mm. Um, Mainly stuff for the show, to be honest. But like I said, I started reading because I have the Marvel app now, so I've been hitting up some stuff on there. So I was reading stuff I forgot to mention last time. I started reading the first couple issues of Rick Remender's Venom
Nice.
with Tony Moore on art on that. That's pretty cool. And I went and found the first issue where Flash becomes the Soldier Venom.
Agent
So
Venom.
Agent Venom, that's what he's called. Okay, Agent Venom. So I kind of read that to have context of how he came to be. What else did I read? Actually, something I started reading a while back that I hadn't touched on was Brandon Graham's Multiple Warheads. I was reading that. I'm almost through that. I think I have an issue left, like 30 pages left to read on that, and that's been very good. So I love that series. That was really good. Television. I watched a comedy. Michelle Wolf. She has a new Netflix special, and whew, I thought it was really good. It was really funny. She touches on a lot of taboo subjects, but from a very, I think it's pretty clever the way she did it and really funny. So I'd recommend people go check that out. It's a
What's it
pretty
called?
good. Oh, it's 3 parts. She does 3 different places, and they're about half an hour each. So it's a 3-part kind of mini series. Michelle Wolf, what's it called? I'm happy to be here. Is that it? Anyway, it's a newer one. It just released like last week or the week before, and I watched that. So it's 3 parts. So I watched like one night. I watched the first part, then the second part, and it's really good. I really dig her comedy. It's good stuff. You know, she tackles a lot of like political correctness and like the whole aspect of language and what we're allowed to say, what we're not allowed to say. But she does it in a really I'd say respectful way, so that it doesn't offend people, but actually giving a very thoughtful point of view at the same time. You know, so like I thought it was pretty intelligent comedy. You know, still a lot of lowbrow. You know, she's very vulgar, but it's done in a very smart way. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's my check-in. What else? Is there anything that I've been reading that I mentioned to you that maybe I hadn't mentioned in the check-ins lately? I mean, I tried reading From Hell for the end pod, and I think I got
Yeah.
200 pages in of a 550-page thing.
How many
Uh,
times did you fall asleep? Because you fall asleep reading some pretty exciting stuff. So, like, if you can fall asleep,
yeah, because I read on the tablet at night. I read on the tablet, so if I'm tired, it doesn't take much. I like sometimes I'll reread the same page like 4 times because I keep nodding off. So yeah, it happened a couple times that I fell asleep. So that doesn't help when you have 550 pages to read, and it's a very it's not a quick read. The pacing is extremely slow. It's very wordy. It's
The art style is yeah,
yeah. So
doesn't help.
no, it doesn't. Black and white, very a lot of 9 grid panels too. No like splash pages, or the page layouts aren't very. They're pretty straightforward, So yeah, I mean, it reads like a historical. Uh, uh,
Man,
like that's what I'd compare it to,
you
like
don't have to
a
be
history book.
nice, man. I love Alan Moore, and I find that book unreadable, man. Like it is impossible to get through.
It reads like a history book. I mean, if you're into
No,
history and
I
shit
love
like that, then
history, man, and don't
yeah,
insult
okay,
history.
okay, because it is like it's a theory of who Jack the Ripper was. It's not like no one knows. Like even today, we don't know who he was. So any books written about who he was or what is all based on educated guessing. So I mean, it's not. You can't say it's. There's some historical things that are accurate, but all in all, I mean,
We've
it's
already
just a
dug our
theory.
bed, man. Tonight, Alan Moore is going to go down into his magic cave under his house and put spells on us, man. We're cursed now. We got a curse on us. We're doomed.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much what I've been reading. Like Deadly Class, obviously, because for our next for part 3 of our Deadly Class episodes, so I've been touching on that, and
That's coming up like next week or the week after. We'll probably do that on
yeah, we have to
12th,
confirm. I'll have to confirm. Yeah,
because that's
not
kind
the
of when
time
we've been doing them, around the 12th, right?
19. Yeah, but I told them the 19th or the 26th, one or the other. Pick one of those 2 dates, so to give a little more time to read it properly. And so I don't like to rush through my books. I like to savor them, you know. And Deadly Class has been book 3's been delicious, if I must say so myself. Yes.
How far are you?
Issue 40. So it starts at 32. So I'm about halfway through it.
Okay, so you are into the second arc because it's like 3 trades long, so you're into the 2nd trade of it. Cool. All right.
You have any check-in?
Yeah, actually, I was supposed to do this one, talk about this one on the Maria Lovett episode, and I kind of forgot about it, even though I had this still up. Yeah, Edenwood by Tony S. Daniel. 90s comics are back, y'all. Like, and Tony Daniel's like totally kind of digging back into his 90s style. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I absolutely loved the 10th, and I would love for him to come back and fucking finish that book once he's done playing around with Edenwood and Nocturna and stuff, since he's doing completely solo creator on stuff again. Like, dude, finish the 10th. I would love that. But Edenwood, it's pretty cute. I like what he's doing. It's kind of like takes place in the United States after like a hole gets ripped through time-space fabric by demons, and a witch army has to try to fight them in this crazy fold. And this kid gets sucked into it, and he becomes a demon hunter, and he gets brought. Finds a way back to our world, which is supposed to kind of be impossible. And he runs into kind of his teen rival, and it's kind of got an anime thing because like his teen rival is like, you know, like really white, and he's got like white hair, and like he's kind of a dark boy with dark hair and stuff. So they got the whole kind of that whole shonen anime thing going on with it. So like Tony Daniel, like he's kind of staying within his wheelhouse of storytelling, but like he's really pushing himself art wise. This book is gorgeous. I highly recommend checking out Edenwood. I think it's going to be a fun little book if he can keep on deadline, which he's not going to be able to. That's always been Tony's weak spot is deadlines.
Yeah. Well, guys get into their, like, especially guys that do a lot of detail and stuff. I think they get lost in the pages when they're working, you know. So.
And probably the big another big thing that I've read. I talked to you about this, man. Drive Like Hell. The first issue, so much fun. Rich really bringing it home. This is kind of different than their IDW trilogy. This one's got a really hard grindhouse feel to it. I really love the reanimated dead girlfriend in the passenger seat. Great character, man. Some of Rich's best writing with that character, in my opinion.
Just IDW trilogy is Road of Bones, Sea of Sorrow, and what's the other one?
That one that just came out about the beatnik Rockstar guy. I forget what it's called. Man.
Oh, okay. So they just dropped it recently. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it just finished. It was another 3-issue. Man, what was it called?
Sorry, I shouldn't ask the question.
It makes me feel like a derp. But
no, because Yeah, because they were working on a couple books together, eh?
From what I heard them say, I saw Alex and Rich talking about it on Travis's show, and like they're got at least a trilogy planned for this type of stuff at Dark Horse or more, however many.
Oh
They can
yes, I know which one you're. I have that on my pull. Why didn't I think of it? The oh shit, what's it called again? Yeah, Breath of Shadows.
Breath of Shadows, yeah, man.
Yeah, I have that on my pull. I read the first two issues. I don't know why I didn't think of the name.
Well,
Anyway,
because it doesn't roll off the tongue like the other
yeah,
two. You know,
yeah,
it's a more
yeah. That's the one where the rock star. Yeah, exactly. Goes on a treasure hunt type thing, and things go horribly sideways.
and I don't have a steal for the last one I'm going to talk about, but like I absolutely love the fact that Usagi Yojimbo's back at Dark Horse, and
Mm.
a whole new number one for me to get, man. Like I have at least all the number ones of like every run of Usagi Yojimbo, so it's cool.
And I mean, I don't think it'll have too many variants because Dark Horse aren't huge on doing like 20,000 variants for their covers. You might have a couple, so that's always nice. Too.
I've only seen the main cover, and it's just straight up Stan Saki drawing of Jotaro and Usagi just mobbing together, and that's pretty cool. I like that they he's rolling with his kid now. That's a pretty cool because like they've been kind of gearing towards that for a while, and like now it's like an official thing that's like the new kind of mode that the book's going to be in, and that's groovy, and that's pretty much my check-in.
Cool. All right, Big Two. This is our one of the new segments. We were trying to come up with something to do with the Big Two because we don't talk about Big Two books very often, and we pitched spitballed a few ideas, and one was sell Johnny on a Big Two book, and we're like, then Johnny came up with Big Tuesday, so we're like, it's great name for a segment, and so this is our first one where we exclusively talk about Marvel and DC, and we're gonna try to do a Marvel title and a DC title each episode. We do one of these, so that's how we're gonna roll. We're gonna try to do that. Sometimes we'll cover more extensively a book. Maybe if we get a bigger title with a bigger run and we do the whole thing, maybe we'll do like a whole episode devoted to it, but we're going to try to stick to one of each. So, because you have your hardcore Marvel fans and your hardcore DC fans. So,
and another thing we're going to try to do, and this is a thing that, I mean, we're close enough to it to kind of hint at it, but like we're still like the way we get subscribers is pretty slow. But like we're going to try to save like talking about like legit Batman books for when we hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. That was going to kind of be a fan thing where we're going to actually like legit talk about like our favorite Batman books. So like Creature of the Night, which we're going to talk about today, it is technically it's called a Batman book, but it's really, really not. And we'll get into that one. You want to start with that one?
Yeah, might as well. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Creature of the Night by Kurt Busiek and Jean-Paul Léon.
Yes. And I think the lettering is done by Todd Klein, the letterer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, like because he does some really good hand lettering, a lot of it, because you kind of get three different really moody narrators, and they all have like really different handwriting styles, which you get and colors going along with their narration too, which I really like that they kind of did all of that with keeping it so you really knew who you were. If you were Uncle Alfred or you're reading Bruce's or Robin's narration, you know what I mean? You like knew whose was going on. And this book, like I was saying, man, like this is technically a Batman book, but Batman is more of a figment. Like he exists, he is a separate creature from our main character, but he is more of a figment built up from rage.
Yeah, because Batman is basically, as you know, Batman only exists as we know them, as a comic book. And the kid is a huge Batman fan, and his love for Batman fuels what Batman becomes in this story, right? Like Johnny says, it's this child, the Bruce Wainwright, and they do fun plays on all the names. So like Alfred was what?
Fred. It's kind of a mix of his first name and his last name. or his
Uh,
middle name. If you kind of put them both together, they kind of spell out Alfred for like a little kid that's already obsessed with Batman. So
yeah,
it's
and
kind of
then Commissioner Gordon is Gordon Hoover.
yeah.
He becomes Commissioner Gordon. Robin is Robin's is the girl. Her first name is Robin Engelhard or something like that. Anyway, and that's the Robin character. Yeah, so it's all fun play on words like that. Where, and I think the place at the end they decide it takes place in Boston, not New York. This story, so yeah, and even the kids' story, like parallels, like all the story beats parallels all this like Batman mythos, right? His origin and everything. Like this kid goes out for Halloween, and on Halloween when he gets back home with his parents, there's a robber in the house, and the robber shoots both parents and the kid goes into a coma. So then when he wakes up from his coma, uh, Gordon Hoover's sitting by his bed and like, oh kid, you're awake, and that's kind of the origin story of this Batman, of this Bruce Wainwright. He goes into
Basically, the only person that's left to take care of him is
is
his
his
uncle
uncle
Alfred, who can't take care of him because this takes place in the late '60s, and his uncle was an openly homosexual man. And at that time, like it just was not feasible for a person of that standing to
to
adopt a
adopt.
kid and not be hassled about it. So like he tragically has to like send Bruce to a boarding school
Boarding school, yeah.
during this time, and like um it's the first issue is really terrifying because you literally think this kid is going to turn into a psycho the way that they're
Yeah,
writing,
yeah.
because like he is not handling this well. I mean, he's bottling it up and he is going to like the school retreats and horseback riding with all the other kids that don't have parents that are that with money and stuff like that. And like
Getting into fights.
he just really thinks that he's a disposable thrown away thing. And there's one point where like he is talking to the Batman creature, and there is a point where like if Uncle Alfred would have been able to actually come in and speak with him, it probably wouldn't have spiraled as bad as it did and break
Mm-hmm.
his psyche as much as it did. But like at this point in this kid's life, due to circumstances, it's not Uncle Alfred or anybody else's fault really
No,
what happened. and
like
and
most people, he just needs someone like to talk to, right? Someone to confide in, someone to relate to, and he's by himself. So, like you said, all these emotions are swirling around in his head. And he doesn't know how to deal with it. And like you said, that's Batman becomes a manifestation of his obsession with Batman comics and his inability to deal with his feelings, emotions, the rage that builds up from not being able to express or talk to a loved one like Alfred, right? Because he says, I wish I could talk to someone aside from a therapist about how I'm feeling, like someone that can relate like I can, that love the same people I did, like my mother and father. And yeah, and it becomes the Batman becomes a manifestation of and this Batman, oh, I gotta
it's
tell
really
you,
great when you first start
oh
seeing them too, because it's almost
yes,
like Evil Dead. You just see these really fast action scenes of it moving around, and it's just a fucking shape in the night, just
yeah,
tearing things apart.
yeah, a very yeah, oh yeah. And let me tell you, this Batman design is one of my favorites, I gotta say. It's a fantastic design for Batman. And then when, like you said, on the rooftop when the kid first meets him and talks to him,
It
and
just says safe. You're
safe,
safe.
you're
That's
safe.
good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. Then you get a silhouette, so you see the shape of this Batman's face. It's always black. It's kind of like it's like a cross between like Batman Beyond, but he has the cape like a normal Batman, you know. And
Yeah,
he's all black. You don't really see his face. It's always all black. His eyes are red.
kind of a
Great
mix
design.
between Batman Beyond and the Thomas Wayne Demon Batman look.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which actually is kind of funny because right, Thomas. It's
Yeah,
revealed later on, right? So it's definitely influenced by that, I'm sure. You know, because this whole story is directly influenced from like mainline Batman mythology, right? All the beats, all the story falls, all the beats and everything. So it's really cool, really great book. Yeah,
and yeah, we kind of leave Bruce where like he is seeing these acts of vengeance happen during the night through the demon's eyes or through the creature's eyes,
Mhm.
and you don't know if he's going out at night and doing this, or like if he's just imagining that it's happening. But then you kind of like the cops are saying that it's happening too, but like nobody's reporting on it, and we kind of leave Bruce kind of finding out who took who killed his parents, and him getting a little bit of vengeance in that, and Alfred giving him a police scanner when he was a kid, thinking that because the kid said he wanted to be
Criminology, right?
criminology, so
Law,
like
law. Yeah.
he didn't see nothing bad about it, and that kind of ends the first double issue, which
Mhm.
a lot of emotion, a lot of really raw feeling in this book, man. It is hits you in the feels. It's very
Mhm.
well written. Kurt Busiek
Oh yeah.
is he is hyped for a reason. The man is incredible, and like his prowess with writing superheroes is just so good. If you've never
Mhm.
read Astro City or his run
I
on
mean,
Thunderbolts, I mean, like the dude is
yeah.
fucking class.
It's
You know what I
it's
mean?
elevated, but it doesn't feel pretentious, or it's just really great storytelling.
Like I
Like
was telling you off
fantastic.
air, it reminds me of movies that came out when we were kids, man. Like
Yeah.
it almost reminds me of like something that would have been like a movie that like David Cronenberg directed, like written by Stephen King, like came out in like 1984, starring
Mhm.
Steve Gutenberg as Thomas Wainwright. Like I was saying,
Yeah.
straight up, man. It's got and John Paul Leon and his really, really like nostalgic art. Like I was saying, man, like he
Mhm.
just has this beautiful cinematic style that's just timeless, man. Like you are
And
like
some beautiful splash pages on top in there too, and just really good stuff. Good action sequences too. I mean, like you said, just the pacing of the story and the art is just on point. It's perfect. Like like Paulione and Kurt just were hitting everything. Like they were on the same page, right? Like the beats, everything. They seem to be in sync for this title.
And the second issue, it kind of starts out pretty hopeful, man, because we jump ahead quite a bit, and Bruce
Now he's
is
in college.
he's a ladies' man. He's at Harvard, and he's big pimping, man. Like he's reading his comic book, and like redheads are coming up, being like, "Oh man, you're into that stuff." That's
Yeah,
kind
yeah. And he also says like, "I've been told I'm not too hideous," you know.
of, yeah,
So he knows he's like not bad looking. So that plays off like the Bruce Wayne playboy type thing. So that's kind of their play on like him being a playboy, you know, like a ladies' man, you know. Yeah.
and you find out like he's already got a business waiting for him once he graduates. Uncle Alfred was building this his trust fund kind of into this whole like Wainwright Industries type thing, and like he's kind of got like a really really good future looking out for him, and like he's kind of I don't know. He is a character that really loves the smell of his own farts, but like you can't help but like Bruce Wainwright throughout. Like, and this book will take you on a roller coaster ride with him. Like, he is not a very I, let's just say like he's got some moral gray areas that he goes through. Like, but
Yeah,
you still really like him, man, and that's just a testament at Kurt's writing, in my opinion, too.
yeah, because you realize that this manifestation goes beyond the revenge he wanted to get for his parents' murder, right? Like this manifestation of Batman is still around in his college years, and
Yeah, he's got
yeah.
his vengeance, but just like any Batman, like it
Mhm,
wasn't enough. He wants
mhm,
to help other kids. And like being a huge Batman fan, like well, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this book. Like he is kind of helping his business build, and like he is like getting them involved with with companies that need a little help to prosper, but they're good companies. They're just being held back by unscrupulous things kind of around them, and these right sort of events start happening around these companies to kind of help his company be way more prosperous. Which you think that like, oh man, everything's just kind of working out for this guy. You know what I
mhm,
mean? It's all really happy stuff until you kind of get to the end of this issue, where
yeah.
after he kind of does his really good virtuous act, where he sets up a kind of a charity thing to help kids that are affected by crime, and he like meets his Robin, like who would
Orphaned, yeah, orphan kids that didn't have that aren't privileged like he was, where the parents had a trust fund set up and an uncle to help him like continue his studies and then have a company built. So he wanted to create uh, a fund or a charity that helps less privileged kids, because like he says, he recognizes that he was a very lucky person in one regard, like wealth, having the wealth and stuff to try to work his way through and stuff, and like not everyone has that support system around him. So he creates this fund, which is kind of selfish in a way, but not, like he just wants to try to give back, and he justifies all his acts by saying he wants to make the world a fair place, right? That's what he always says,
Yeah.
right? The injustice. So he wants to make the world a fair place for everyone. And
But
yeah,
the creature inside of him, man, he just can't let it go. And like helping this kid financially isn't enough. Like he thinks that she's like him and she needs that vengeance as well. So like he kind of sends the demon out again into the night and for answers and like that. This
for
is
closure. Yeah, he thinks she needs closure to be able to properly move on and make something of herself.
and I think this is when it kind of becomes almost mania for him, right? This is that's kind of the big breaking point for him, I would say.
Yeah,
Like
like
that's when he goes over the line, really. And this is when like I was saying, like he kind of finds out that the creature has been going out at night and sabotaging other businesses and like helping him business wise, like being a
that
saboteur.
profits his business by sabotaging other companies. Yeah.
And he kind of yells at it and tells it not to do that. And this is when we kind of really start getting into the psychiatric part of the book, which is where it gets really interesting. The next issue, because he's trying to figure out like what's going on with him. So he goes and starts talking to a shrink, and he's doing it under the guise of writing a book about ghosts, right? And
Yeah, or guardians, or manifest, like,
because he finds out he had a stillborn twin brother
yeah,
that died in childbirth, and he is convinced that the creature is that, and
his brother, who was named Thomas.
Thomas,
Yeah.
and so he kind of goes and sees the shrink, but the shrink basically explains to him that the whole time that like the Batman never helped him. It was actually a hindrance. It holds him back. It's actually a regressive force that
Mm-hmm.
keeps him that keeps him as just a spiteful child that wants his revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And but like he thinks that like, oh no, it grew. It when I told him not to mess with other companies
Sabotage. Yeah.
to make me happy, like it learned, so it's not going to do that anymore. And this is where the book gets really, really scary because he also kind of starts thinking he can work with the police like Batman proper, and
Yeah.
Officer Gordon kind of acts at first like he's a good cop and he's going to try to catch the Batman, but then he kind of says like, "Oh no, we can work with them," and you end up finding out that tragically that they use him to help criminals get elected and all kinds of stuff, man. Like he is used as like
He gets played. Yeah.
hardcore, which
Yeah.
really fractures him hard.
Yeah, this is where he really goes off the rails, where he's in full, like, just rage mode, vengeance, and yeah. Then the creature is like,
And this
it's
is
no
where you
hold.
find out the creature is real, and it is not him. It is literally something that he wished into this world, and we don't know if it is actually his brother's ghost or what exactly it is. But like it's not good though, and it doesn't help him or anybody else.
Mhm.
But he needs to learn that the hard way, and that's kind of what the rest of the book is. And you get these really sad scenes where he is taunted by Batman's rogue gallery, like Joker and like these characters are actually there tormenting him,
Mhm.
and like he doesn't even want that. He never wanted that. He just kind of wanted to help kids and you know and get what he thought was fair in his life. And like I think he really he is like really just one of the most morally ambiguous versions of Batman I've ever seen, because they really play him out to have some villainous turns in this book, but at the
Mhm.
same time, like he doesn't know that he's doing these things. So it is just such a neat way that they took this character and this manifestation of Batman.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely adore what Kurt Busiek did with his writing here, and like John Paul Leon brought it to life beautifully because the
Yeah.
way they tie it in with Batman, there's these wonderful like faux Batman pages
Pages.
where like this cover here, like you're not Bruce Wayne, who are you? And like this is when he is really having his mental breakdown, and
Yeah.
the neat thing is the book is one of the neatest ways I've seen to kind of look at mental illness
Hmm.
and how hero worship isn't healthy for too much of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like he hasn't a false idealization of what like the Batman represents, and it just fuels his delusion even more, right? Like, yeah, and
But
like as you read it too, like there's so many different, and it goes through his life from like a kid till an adult, like where he's like starting to get the white hair on the sides. So this is something he struggled with his entire life. So like you say, it definitely represents mental illness and how people struggle with it, and it's not something that just goes away. It's something you have to learn to live with, deal with, manage throughout your entire life, right? So,
and
and if you don't,
I love the way they show the time move in the book too. Like
mhm,
towards the middle of the book, it's you can tell it's around the early '90s because he's got Batman '89 posters up, and people are talking about like um why
hard
he's
drives,
why he's acting so dark and edgy as a
uh,
Batman fan because
okay,
that movie came
okay,
out and all that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
loved all that little stuff like that they worked in,
mm, mm,
especially for people our age. You know what I mean? You're like reading all
yeah,
this, like man, it's
yeah.
so cool to kind of.
But it's a really, really, really smart way to tell a Batman story. I love it. Like Batman isn't like the main focus. He's just like an influence onto the story, not so much this. He's not the story itself, right? So,
And the fact that he's such a horror character in this, I mean, like
yeah,
he's Batman is terrifying in this. He's almost like I
true.
said, like something out of a Stephen King story. Like he's like a Tommy knocker or something like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that would definitely be a good if you're into like psychological thrillers. Like this would definitely be a good read during spooky season if you're like you want something that's more like a psychological thriller. Like this is definitely would fit the bill, right?
Yeah, I mean, like really easily with some tweaks to the end, they could have went hard horror with this pretty
Yeah,
easy. It could have been pretty terrifying. You know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah. But definitely really good book. Like I had read it a long time ago, so rereading it, I was like, "Fuck, man, I forgot how good this was." And it's a really good book, really solid.
I actually picked up the first couple Prestige issues when they were coming out
Hmm.
because I actually wanted to get White Knight, but they didn't have the first issue, so like I got these instead. I'm really happy I did. Like I love both books, but I think I actually like this one better.
Mm.
Just saying, just because like it is so freaking different than anything I even expected. You know what I mean? And like I
Hmm.
said, it's so nostalgic in so many different ways. Because like I said, it reminded me of like old timey films, like very Cronenbergy too. You know what I mean? With the guy kind of becoming something else and
Yeah.
kind of learning to become himself again. Like it's a beautiful book, and
And I
like
think this book might have lost some hype when it first came out because Jean Paul Leon was going through health issues, so they had to stop after issue 3, and it took about a year and a half for the final issue to come out. So I think maybe it lost a little hype and a little bit of steam because the story was never completed until like a year and a half after the first 3 came out, because he was dealing with medical issues, and then once he was starting to feel better, he was able to come back and finish off the book. But it's nice that it actually got completed and finished because it's a great read.
it's nice and dense, man. It's 200 pages, a lot of story, a lot of stuff happens in this book. You go
Mm-hmm.
on a huge journey with little Bruce Wainwright, and I don't know. I think you're all the better for it at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
fantastic, fantastic book. Yeah. So that's our DC book.
right. And
Now, now for the Marvel portion of the episode. Howard the Duck.
I actually remember this comic being a little more sentimental than it was. I didn't remember it being as fucking wild and silly as it is, but it's still good. I mean, I don't think it's too far away from
Hmm.
Creature of the Night. I mean, I don't think that they make the best double feature, but like they're both weird books. All right,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Well, well, Howard's kind of a dark humor type character, right? He's crude. He's a grumpy. He's grumpy. So the humor definitely reflects. There's like a little bit of a mean spiritedness to the humor in it. A little.
I mean, I can't think of a Marvel book that would take itself as serious Creature of the Night did, man. The only thing that
Yeah.
that comes even close is Marvels by Kruger and Alex Ross
Hmm.
with Jim Kruger, and I don't really like that book too much. So
There you go. So this is the 2015 miniseries by Chip Zdarsky with Joe Quintones as the penciler. You have Joe Rivera and Paulo Rivera, the inkers. Rico Renzi is the colorist. Travis Lanham is the letterer. Then you have John Moyson, editor. Will Moss, editor. Executive editor. Alex Alonso, Joe Quesada. The suits after the non-creatives. So yeah.
and this book is just XD random to the bone, man. Like it's a lot of fun though. I love just all the wild places this book goes to. Like, and I literally laugh out loud. Like I'll say it, man. Like Chip might be a little overrated nowadays, but this is like a legit book of his that, like, I don't care who you are, you can pick it up and have a good fucking time with it, man.
Yeah.
It's that fun.
Mm. And I don't know if Chip is a fan of Spider. He's either a fan of Spider-Man or he doesn't like Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is the butt of a lot of jokes, like a reoccurring joke throughout, where he like there's a part where the Collector goes and shoots Howard with a gun and he disappears, and then he's like, "Not again, Ben! Oh my God, Ben!" And he starts freaking out. Then when Howard comes back, he has a little what do you call it?
Shrine.
A shrine in memory of Howard. And he's like in a little ball, like in fetal position, sleeping. And then Howard's like, "Yo, what's up, Spidey?"
What's up, Webs? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was just funny, the jokes. Like, and he makes fun of a lot of the characters like that come and help out.
Oh, my favorite is the way he does Johnny Storm, the Human
Johnny
Torch.
Storm. Yeah,
Like, man, he makes him such a douche, but like he's funny, man. Like,
yeah. The same come on line that he has for every.
yes,
He's
for sure.
definitely. Yeah, he's a player, right? So he has the same pickup line all the time, and he has him repeat it like 3 or 4 times in the story. It's pretty funny.
That them making fun of Secret Wars with the black Spider-Man suit and all,
Yeah,
like that whole issue was just really funny, man.
yeah. So
Dude,
basically, this is Howard.
he is Private
Private
Eye.
Eye. Yeah.
Yeah. And this starts with kind of pretty much him in jail, and he's getting bailed out, and he meets his new best friend Tara, who is a tattoo artist, and she is rad, man, for a character that you don't know nothing about and just kind of hangs out, and
Up
she's
for
all,
anything, really, right? He's like,
she's
hey,
like Chaz in Constantine, pretty much, but for Howard.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, wingman. No pun intended.
Yeah. And yeah, she doesn't care if she gets paid or not. She just wants to PI with him. She thinks it's fun. So,
Yeah.
and like, man, when they get to the old people stuff, man, that's my favorite part. But like the first thing starts out where, like, yeah, he gets out and like they meet and they go on their separate ways, and like he gets thrown this job where he's got to
Well,
get a necklace back from Black
he
Cat,
he shares a floor with
She-Hulk,
She-Hulk, Jennifer.
Waters.
Yeah, Waters. Yeah. He's like, they have facing office doors, right? So he's often in their office, and they find him annoying. And yeah, so there's that banter going back and forth between She-Hulk and Howard, which is pretty fun with the monkey hissing. And yeah, all those scenes are like, it's just, the setup is just silly, right? It's just a silly book, and it's pretty funny.
The first interaction with Spider-Man. My face
Yeah,
on your body. Just makes him like a total Chad, dude.
yeah, it makes him a doofus.
But yeah,
So
like
bad.
basically, he gets a job from this random old guy that like he's got to steal a necklace from Black Cat.
Or Black Cat stole the necklace, so he's got to go. That's what he says: is Black Cat stole my necklace, so you have to try to find out where she lives, get it back for me. That's his first job.
And like there's a training montage with him and Tara, and but basically he ends up finding out that she lives down the street from Tara, and Tara, she's like, yeah, man, like she got platinum white hair. Like there's no way you're not gonna know when that bitch lives down the street from you.
Yeah, yeah, like she says, there's no way like young bombshells. There's not too many young bombshells that have platinum white hair. She's like, yeah, she lives just down the street, man, down the block. Yeah, so it's just like the worst PI work ever, right, in this book. So,
So like they end up getting the necklace back from they dress up like pizza guys, which is
yeah,
great. I love that whole scene. It's so stupid.
yeah,
Uh,
with the
they
hat.
they get the necklace back from Black Cat, but the guy who works for the collector catches Howard, and like he ends up like in the collector's space prison with Rocket Raccoon,
Yeah,
and that's the big setup for issue 2.
yeah,
And you get this wonderful cover with the Guardians mugging for a selfie.
yeah. They're all ducking,
Yeah,
doing the duck face. That's what I kind of laughed. They're all doing the duck face, and now it's like, I am a fucking duck, you know? But just the look on his face, it's too good. Yeah, that's an awesome cover, too. Love
yeah,
that cover. Yeah. Yeah, so then we're in this space. We're in space. Rocket is devising a plan to escape, telling Howard, "Shut the hell up! You know, stop
yeah.
running your mouth. I have a plan. I have a plan." But of course, Howard doesn't listen to anyone, so he's running his mouth. Gets the guards in there, and yeah, kind of. Rocket has to improvise his escape plan.
Yeah, and the Guardians show up, and basically, like they gotta steal the heart of a Celestial, and this always warms my heart when these characters get brought up because they are so integral to me becoming a comic book fan. See, like the first 2 comic books my mom ever bought me were an issue of Thor and an issue of Avengers, and the issue of Thor was he was fighting a Celestial. And like
Mm-hmm.
it was like the first issue where he had like this rad blue armor that he only had for like 2 issues. Really, really cool story arc. But yeah, that's so the fact that the Celestials are in this like really got it gave me a kick. But like yeah, there's a lot of really cool action, but all it leads to is like Howard breaking in and getting the necklace back, and the Guardians drop him off back on Earth, and he gets robbed by Aunt May, which
Yeah, he
is
shows up to go see Tara and what? Aunt May's there robbing the tattoo shop. Yeah.
so this is where the book really, really got my interest and became one of my favorite things ever. With
Mm.
the
Aunt May robbing Howard the Duck and Tara.
yeah,
Yeah. So
but
then,
like so to find out. So they go to where the old people hang out, and Howard's just butt naked, pretending to be a duck eating.
trying to catch some leads.
And so, and it isn't working. Aunt May walks by. They catch her, which leads to our second favorite Spider-Man scene, where like she ends up teaming up with them, and they're gonna go find out who has been using old people to rob other people all over New York, and she leaves her cell phone behind. So Peter Parker thinks that Aunt May's been kidnapped, and why am I so bad at this?
Yeah, yeah, because she disappears. So all he sees is the flowers and the cell phone. Yeah, another Spider-Man joke. Ugh, too good.
And basically you end up finding out that I forget what this dude's name is, but like he's an old Avengers villain. I remember this guy. He's got a hat that hypnotizes people, and he's been making old people steal stuff for him. And he doesn't know. He didn't even care about the necklace. This hasn't even gotten to the big part of the necklace yet, but we're getting close to it. And like Howard and Aunt May and Atara basically beat this dude's ass and get the necklace back a third time. But this leads to the guy that Howard. Well, this it leads to the old folks' home of superheroes, man, with the Wolverine impersonator. But man, the Punisher with the squeaky balloon, the
Ugh,
fucking dude.
And I love that's what's his name? Gilroy draws that, right? Or is that it? Who draws that section? The little backstory. Oh, I can't remember what his name
Rob
is.
Gilroy, right?
Isn't he the one who did Chew? I think it's the guy who does Chew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does it. I love it. Like for that story, like you showed the Punisher, just the grumpy face he has and everything, and Wolverine, like the old man, worn out face, just great stuff. Like,
Well, Wolverine's talking about him hosting a party for old mobsters, and like he's just squeezing the balloon trigger, and you just hear squeak, squeak.
yeah,
It is so
yeah,
stupid, but it's the funniest thing ever, man. I laugh
it's
so
good.
hard.
Oh yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
And then, yeah, the next issue we get another really good variant cover spoof of the first Spider Gwen.
Yeah, because that's right around Spider Gwen showed up.
And then basically the necklace gets stolen for the final time, and it's from Talos, the uh, the Skrull guy from Captain Marvel. Like he is the main villain in this book, and like the necklace is a stone from the Abundance glove. It's not quite as good as the Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah,
but
it's like
if you're a shitty villain, it's enough to like make one of your wishes come true, kind of type of thing.
yeah, it's kind of like GoBots and Transformers, right? You know.
So Talos has almost all the stones for the Abundance glove, but like they need to get the last one, so like they team up with Doctor Strange, but Tara doesn't want to go hang out with Doctor Strange for some reason. She's kind of afraid to hang out with other heroes, and Howard's finding it weird. So this leads to some cool things with her character later in the issue, but basically they find out they have to hit up yeah, this is where you find out about the Abundance glove and the different
Well,
what
it
this
has the open fingers, like it doesn't have fingers, you know, like in case you want to smoke a cigarette.
compassion, laughter, dance, respect, and a second dance gym.
That's
Like,
one, yeah. It'd be a good glove for Peter, right? For Star Lord, he
yeah.
likes to dance.
So they gotta get a hold of Johnny Storm because like he knew where one of the stones were, and
At the old Fantastic Four headquarters.
he basically tells him that like he had it for a little while because he thought it would get him laid, but like it didn't, so he lost it. And Talos ends up getting a hold of it, and you get like all these great Avengers showing up, and like Howard and Tara running away from it. Really, really cool, funny stuff. And then this is where you find out that Tara, she's not a Skrull, but she's Skrull adjacent. Basically, back in the day, there were these super Skrulls that Reed Richards
Fantastic Four, yeah.
convinced to be cows, and basically those cows got slaughtered, and she ate one of. Oh, no, she didn't eat one of them. She ate a duck that ate one of them. So like, no, she ate a duck that was also a Skrull.
A Skrull, yeah,
was what it was, and so she is a shapeshifter, and she is a superhero kind of, but she is ashamed of it, and she doesn't want people to think that she's a Skrull kind of. But she helps Howard fight Talos's weird Abundance glove monsters, like the Dance Demon, which is really funny. Like the panels with that shit is just great. And Howard teams up with Falcon, Captain America, and like they take down Talos. And oh man, yeah, I love the them making fun of that classic cover. And Howard comes and saves Spider-Man, and Spider-Man now owes Howard favor.
Owes him a favor, yes. He's like, oh, I owe him now. No.
But Howard used the Abundance glove, saves the day, and
yeah, because one of the jokes is the only phone number that Howard has of all the heroes in the Marvel universe is Spidey. So he's always calling Spider-Man like, "Hey, could you?" Always asking Spidey for favors to call like other superheroes and shit like that. So yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. Then they defeat Talos, and yeah, then they reveal at the end that the next series is coming. They already had it planned, so
Yeah,
yeah. So they
and
defeat Talos, and I guess Howard and Tara become a team after this. Like they become best buds.
yeah, and that's you got a lot more of them coming in the next 12 issue miniseries that ran, and it's all really good, man. It's all really fun. But yeah, this first 5 issue, like it's a must read, man. Like you will giggle at this shit like a little kid, man. It's that good.
And it's the same creative team for the 12 issue series as well.
Yeah, there's
Same.
just not as many little backstory stories in that one as there is in this one.
Mm. So I guess what Marvel did is probably like, we'll give it 5 issues, see how people react to it, and I guess the first couple issues sold really well. So then they decide to go forward with a. They even make fun now how it's going to be another #1 issue, starting over with a #1. They make fun of it at the end of the series.
Oh, that's all Marvel did at that time, man. That was during the Marvel Now era with the
Yeah.
like even if your book didn't reset, they would do they did that thing where like it was the point now where they had the point 1 issues where it was like actually like issue 12 of like a lot of books, but they were still like a #1 because it was like a new jump on point.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Marvel was really bad with that shit at the time, so it's pretty cool that they were tongue in cheek. But I understand why they did it. Like Howard the Duck was a hard sell. Like they've tried like doing miniseries with him. Like with Max, they tried I think 3 that didn't go very well. So like I get why like they were like, yeah, we'll give them 5 issues maybe at first, and then okay, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. So yeah, we'll do a little more.
Yeah, and that's all on the Marvel app. So if you're looking for it, it's all available on the Marvel app if you want to go check it out.
And I think there's a really good hardcover that has this whole collection of the Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah, the mini and the 12 issues. Yeah.
So that's pretty rad. I have the old trades for him, and
Mm-hmm.
any format, this is a good read. So definitely check it out. And
Hells yeah.
we got a lot of these planned. We've been thinking of like fun DC stuff and Marvel stuff to talk about, and we're gonna try to avoid talking about big heroes as much as possible here because we want to keep that for when we can milk that for people to like pay more attention to us. But yeah, we got we're gonna talk about like Ed Brubaker's Iron Fist in the near
Mm-hmm.
future. We got Brian K. Vaughan's The Hood, one of my favorite Marvel books. We got man, what's some of the DC stuff we talked about? We got
We talked about Cave,
Dave Carson has a
Cave
cybernetic.
Carson, Martian Manhunter by Orlando, Hellblazer by Spurrier, Bug by All Red, the All Red team,
Oh yeah, well we might be covering the entirety of Young
Young
Animal.
Animal. Yeah,
We're
we'll be doing a few Young Animal books, then we'll, like we said, we'll probably finish it off with the Milk Wars is the crossover event that was in the Young Animals. So
the
we'll
only
cover.
the only good event book Big Two has ever put out, either a Big Two, like is
Yeah,
Milk Wars. So yeah, we'll work up to that, and that should be a lot of fun because that book is so much fun, dude.
yeah. Like I mentioned, Far Sector. We're still kind of trying to figure out, but these are all books we've kind of are spitballing. Mentioned Cable and X Force, the Hopeless run. Uh, what else? Black Knight Spurrier's run. Also Iron Fist, the Kari Andrews. That we might read that one. You had mentioned Destroyer by Kirkman.
Yeah, Kirky's Destroyer. That's a lot
Mhm.
of fun.
I mentioned Punisher Kill Crew. I love that one. The Jerry Dugan series, the 5 issue mini series, was fantastic. Love that one. Great stuff. That I
Uh,
really enjoyed that. That was a fun read.
maybe
Yeah,
talk you into reading the Greg Rucka Punisher run because that's one that I'm always trying to talk people into reading. It's a really underrated Punisher book that's really
yeah,
good.
yeah. Like I like Greg Rucka. Like his Batwoman is fantastic. Everything I've read from him is good. Like, so yeah, I'd definitely be down for that. Is that a regular Marvel series or is that a Max?
It was regular. Yeah, it came out around. It came out at the same time. Brian Michael Bendis was doing Moon Knight, and let's see, and
So what year was that in?
and I think it was when Ed Brubaker started doing Daredevil. Oh man, what year was here? I got the
Yeah. So
Pride.
Punisher,
Yes.
because I mean, Punisher. I mean, great character. Greg Rucka writing on it. I mean, how can you go wrong? Because you have the original Punisher miniseries from '86. We could probably do that one maybe
2011.
from 2011.
Yeah, around 2011 is
Okay.
when those came
Okay.
out.
Yeah. Because the Marvel app doesn't have any Max series. Because I've been going through the Marvel app and seeing like stuff, and we could do like a special episode where we pick like maybe what's your favorite from a kid, like one of your favorite big two stories from when you're a kid. We could each pick one and read one of those. Because when I started reading comics, it was back when McFarlane was just finishing up his Amazing Spider-Man, and Eric Larson was picking it up. Batman, I was near the end. Like I started reading Batman at the beginning of Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogel's run on Batman. Uh, like we could pick up like childhood favorites, things we cherish from when we were kids of the big two. Because whether you like it or not, as a kid, like some of the first comics you probably read are probably big two books like Marvel or DC. So I would like to do that too. Just pick like what was one of your childhood, like one of your favorites from being a kid.
Shit with Beta Ray Bill in it, man. You're gonna a lot of Walter
Well,
Simon.
that's one we'd mentioned doing Daniel Warren Johnson's Beta
Oh,
Ray Bill miniseries.
I'll talk about like actual like old Walter Simonson Thor
Yeah,
issues.
yeah, but that was one of the ones that I didn't retransfer onto the list. You had mentioned before was the newer, the latest Beta Ray miniseries by Daniel Warren Johnson. We could cover that one as well.
I still need to read it, but yeah, like I don't see how it's going to be bad, dude.
Yeah.
Unless like Marvel editors are really, really were able to. But I don't know. I think DWJ could get around it.
Yeah. So I mean,
but yeah, we got a lot of stuff planned, and we're also interested in hearing what you guys might want to hear us talk about. Like if you have some really cool Marvel stuff or DC stuff that you thought was rad, I'm gonna want to try to keep it away from Vertigo because like I could just like, and that would be a lot of fun for me, but like I don't think it'd be too interesting for people that are actually DC fans. You know what I mean? So like I actually want to do like DC superhero books with this show.
Yeah, because we already talked about
maybe talk about like maybe Morrison's Doom Patrol, but I think that's a little too trendy for this show.
Yeah, like I mean, one of the early books that I loved as a kid too from Marvel was like Ghost Rider, the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. So we could probably cover some of that with Saltaires and Texiera on art. That like those early ones when I was a kid, I loved those. There's a bunch of books that like we can go to childhood stuff and more recent stuff. Like we want to cover not just newer, but we want to cover like a whole gamut of stuff. So like the two books we covered was what Howard the Duck was in 2015 and Batman
2020.
2020. The hardcover came out in 2020, but I think it had originally released in 2018, the first issue. So yeah. So I mean, I'll dive into 80s stuff too, like you were saying, like there's all kinds of stuff.
But yeah, if you got any recommendations, let us know. We are definitely down. But until next time, do we got anything later this week?
Nothing confirmed as of right now.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we'll keep you posted. We'll definitely be doing something, but we're not sure what it is yet.
The only thing I have confirmed leading up till next Thursday is we're going to have Corinne Halbert,
Acid Nun,
the creator of Acid Nun, on next Thursday on November 16th at 8 p.m. is the next creator interview that we have, and we'll plan something between now and then. We'll have two episodes lined up, probably this Thursday or Friday, and either next Monday or Tuesday we'll have something planned. But we'll drop it on socials, and people can find it there and see what we're up to for the next couple episodes.
Right. And yeah, we're gonna probably try to do this Big Tuesday at least once a month.
Yeah, at least once a month if we can. If not, bi-weekly maybe.
So yeah, keep your eyes open for this. It should be a lot of fun. I had a good time doing this. I think we picked some fun books, and
Hmm.
yeah. Until next time, don't stop reading, y'all.